Shri Arun Puri, Shri M.J. Akbar, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Arun, for inviting me to speak at this very important gathering of intellectuals that brings together a wide range of issues, opinions, ideas, and insights into contemporary affairs. The subject of this year's conclave is indeed thought-provoking. Looking around us, not just in India, but at the world around us as well, it is clear that the balance of power has indeed shifted, both within and between states. If there is one defining characteristic of the changes that we see in India and the world, it is the shift in power towards the ordinary citizen. In India, we have seen rapid economic change and growth since 1991. What is less evident but equally significant is the fundamental deepening of our democracy that has been brought about through the empowerment of local institutions, broadened civil society action, and the policy of inclusive social and economic growth. This has led to a shift in power from the institutions of the state to the citizens of our country. In 1991, we unleashed the entrepreneurial energies of our people by dismantling the license permit Raj. This released individual creative energies to produce the wealth that we need for fulfilling our responsibilities of offering a life of equal opportunity and dignity to our citizens. The policies of the government in recent times have sought to remake the democratic state of India, to make processes of social and economic change more inclusive, and thereby empowering over 1 billion people, 1/6 of humanity. It is in fact a mandate that derives from our Constitution. We have sought to make political democracy meaningful through social democracy by addressing the specific needs of excluded or marginalized sections of our society, like the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, minorities, and women. We are committed to providing reservation to women to the extent of 50% in local bodies and up to 1/3 in the state legislature and in our parliament. We have sought to bridge several divides in our country simultaneously. The infrastructural divide through Bharat Nirman, the educational divide through the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan and the right to education, the health divide through the National Rural Health Mission, and exclusion through targeted affirmative action programs for minorities, scheduled castes, and by restoration of the rights of indigenous people or scheduled tribes over forests and forest produce. We are moving towards providing broadband connectivity to all our 250,000 panchayats so that modern technology is harnessed for the empowerment of our citizens. We have introduced landmark legislations that provide citizens the right to information, the right to education, and the right to work through the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Act. We have intensified our efforts for the emancipation of our women, our efforts to create equal educational opportunities through targeted programs for girls' education and specific economic programs focused on women, particularly through self-help groups, are all gradually bearing fruit. Our major challenge going forward is to give our women political voice and to work out and implement effective strategies for gender equality. We have sought to capitalize on the opportunities that come in the wake of decentralization of power. It is heartening to see that the modern sectors of our economy are also beginning to understand the value of operating at the bottom of the pyramid and combining public welfare with the pursuit of profit. The focus is to create a skilling revolution in our country that touches every nook and corner. This needs everyone to collaborate: the central and state governments, the private sector, developers of technology, the non-governmental organizations, and others. Through the Prime Minister's National Council on Skill Development, we have been working on this, and now that the recession is behind us, and we are coming out with a blueprint for the skill revolution in the next 2 months. We have in our country not yet evolved a fully satisfactory system for reconciling harmoniously the demands of growth and environment. We need to move away from seeing the environment development debate as a zero-sum game and instead devise win-win combination. A lot of intellectual effort is needed to operationalize the concept of sustainable development. This should challenge the imagination of our environment and development planners. The tragic nuclear incidents in Japan, in the aftermath of the recent earthquake and tsunami, should make us revisit strategies for nuclear safety, learning lessons from these experiences. I have already ordered a thorough review by the Department of Atomic Energy. We live today in an age when science and technology and the growth of human knowledge are becoming major determinants of the power and wealth of nations. India's ability to carve out a place for itself in the evolving committee of nations will be determined by our ability to use science and technology for accelerating the processes of social and economic change. What we have attempted in India is, of course, specific to Indian conditions. But the human desire for more freedom and for citizens to decide their own future is universal. The shift of power to citizens is today a global phenomenon. As a democracy, we are happy to see our brothers in West Asia and North Africa taking an increasing role in determining their own future. These are decisions for countries and their citizens to take for themselves, free of outside interference or coercion. India will do what it can to support the decisions that the people and countries of the region take about their own future. As close neighbors and historical friends, we have a major stake in their peaceful, orderly evolution. Over 6 million of our citizens live and work in this area. India's trade, economic and human ties with the countries of South Asia, East Asia and West Asia are deep and historical. We have to find new pathways of cooperation with these countries to create new opportunities for growth and development. The balance is also shifting between states in the global system. The old order is clearly changing. A new order, however, is yet to be born. No country has a greater interest and stake than India in a rule-based and predictable international system within which we can grow and develop. Our existing institutions of global governance need to change to reflect today's shift in balance. To some extent, this is already happening in regard to the global economy. India today participates fully and meaningfully in international economic institutions, particularly the Group of 20, which has emerged in the aftermath of the global financial crisis of 2008 as the preferred and primary forum for global economic issues. We see a similar evolution in the international handling of political, security, and other issues, and a democratization of institutions like the United Nations Security Council to bring them in line with present-day realities. It is important that all major powers work together to address the major economic and political challenges that face us, including those involving non-state actors. Cooperation to deal with cross-border terrorism is very important. Problems such as piracy require cooperative solutions by several states acting together, both to prevent piracy on the high seas and to eliminate the causes which make this possible. India has a strong interest in the security of the sea lanes. Our Navy has done a commendable task in foiling attempts at piracy in the Arabian Sea, and it is working with international navies of the Horn of Africa. The shifts in the balance of power and its implications suggest that we need to adapt ourselves. In many ways, India is well placed to take advantage of the changes in the balance of international forces. We can contribute to the world's recovery from the recent financial and economic crisis. We can become a pole of political stability in an uncertain world. But for all this, we will need to show innovation and flexibility in our approaches. Some inadequacies have become apparent in our systems of functioning. We have to deal squarely with the malice of corruption. We need to reform and improve governance at all levels. I am sure, ladies and gentlemen, that your deliberations in this conclave will contribute to a more informed debate on all the issues that this important topic raises. With these few words, I wish your conclave every success, and thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for giving us your views on the changing balance of power at home and overseas. I won't go, and the various initiatives that your government is taking. I won't go into the details of summarizing the Prime Minister's speech because we are pressed for time. Going to allow a few questions, so let me start with the first question. Sir, you talked about the deepening of democracy, and your commitment to democracy is well known, and you speak about it in various forums. One of the most shameful days of Indian democracy was when money was paid, shown on the floor of the House, allegedly paid off for the no confidence motion in 2008. And now the WikiLeaks have come out with revelations confirming this. I would like to know how you view this. Is this affected the workings of your government, the image of India, and what is it that you would like to do about these revelations?
Can I go there?
Yes, sir.
Well, obviously, Arun, the events that you have mentioned, they do affect us. They affect our image, both at home and abroad. Without going into specific events, I would like to say that all this emphasizes the need for strong, purposeful electoral reforms in which funding of elections and political parties can be more transparent, more accountable than it is presently the case. As far as the events of the last few days, the so-called WikiLeaks, I wouldn't like to comment. I think people who are affected by them, they have already commented on them, casting serious doubts about the veracity of allegations made in these diplomatic dispatches. At the level of our parliament, a giant parliamentary committee has also looked into this aspect of the functioning of our system, and that report is available on the website. So, but I do take the message that all these developments once again emphasize the need for visible, effective electoral reforms.
Thank you, sir. I might add that the investigation which took place was actually just a probe on the sting operation. Didn't actually probe was the money paid, how was it paid, who paid it, and whether you will now order a further probe into this.
Well, I wouldn't like to comment on what we are going to do right now or in days to come. These are matters which are being discussed in our parliament, and if I have anything to say, we would say it in parliament first. But there should be no doubt about our commitment to root out corruption, to clean our political system of the malaise that are the concern of the public at large.
Thank you. Rahul.
Mr. Prime Minister, sir, for millions of people across the country, you were the embodiment of probity and integrity in public life. But given the multiple allegations of corruption that are now besieging your government, do you get the sense, sir, that your own personal esteem in the eyes of the people of India has fallen some notches because of these allegations? And can you assure this audience, sir, that to the best of your knowledge, during the no confidence motion, no money exchanged hands, and the Congress party and your government did not purchase votes to stay on in power, sir?
I have no knowledge of any such purchases, and I am absolutely categorical. I have not authorized anyone to purchase any votes. I am not aware of any acts of purchasing votes. So I am absolutely certain in asserting that I am not at all, I think, involved in any of these transactions.
Just identify yourself.
I am Dr. Sandeep Vora, a psychotherapist attached to India Today Group. Sir, which role model should Indian youth follow as of today? They don't have anybody to look forward to, sir.
Well, I think the founding fathers of our constitution provide the best role models. Mahatma Gandhi,
Yes.
Jawaharlal Nehru. I think and all those who presided over India's march towards freedom and then to reconstruction and development. I think they are very important role models for all of us.
You are 100% correct, sir. As a psychotherapist, I see.
Yes, I think one question is enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, Mr. Prime Minister, sir, I am Shivraj Singh. I am National Secretary of Janata Dal United. I hail from Bihar, one of the poorest state of the country. In your speech, you said you appreciated the role of people in the movement of West Asian countries. Sir, I would like to know that what role do you think the government has, because today one of the most grave problems the country is facing is of corruption, and millions of people are suffering due to this. And poverty is, I think, one of the byproducts of corruption, because India is not a poor country. Indians are poor. But when it comes to tackling corruption, you in your speech, you have said that we are bound by the coalition dharma and we are bound by the compulsions of coalition. Sir, I would like to know that because people have great respect and faith in you, would you not like to abide by the constitution, have faith in people, and would you not like to act by the aspiration of people rather than being bound by the coalition dharma? The constitution and Guru Granth Sahib gives you the power
We got
to
the
act
question.
as Prime Minister. Thank you.
Give
It
the question.
goes without saying that all of us are bound to follow the constitution of our country, and therefore nothing that I have said is inconsistent with following the dictates of our constitution. I have taken an oath to defend the constitution and the laws of our country, and whatever I may have said about coalition dharma, I think should not in any way convey the impression that I am not in favor of following strictly the dictates of our constitution.